Good day guys, welcome to another episode on my Let's Play. We're here on top of our new addition to the main base, which is a sniffer farm. So just really basic one. Once these 2 eggs grow up, it's going to function. It's got that hopper clock behind that's going to trigger the note block, and as we collect more and more sniffers we can breed. Once these 2 grow up, then they will sniff out those seeds and it'll drop down into a barrel below after those 2 LAs pick them up. At the moment I haven't got any of those new seeds, so those LAs are just chilling against a fence post, but once these sniffers wake up, I'll keep an eye out and get this all sorted off camera, which I have been doing a couple of things. I managed to miss the recording for that first egg that I found, and also now I've made my armor look a little bit cooler. So I've gone and done all the trimming. I forgot to record that as well because I just planned it all out and went exploring. So that was a bit silly of me, but I reckon I look pretty cool. And we've also got a trimmed netherite chest plate and helmet as well. After last week building this nether tunnel hall, I've been very busy. Without replay mod, it means that I haven't really got any time lapses to show you, but now we've got this central area. So we've got up to bedrock. I've cleared out all of the nether rack. Every now and then I spot one, which is a pain. I have to pillar up or whatever, but I reckon it looks pretty cool. We just need to come up with a design now, really, and I am actually tossing up the idea of going through and clearing all of this bedrock, which would be a major job to do, but that might look pretty cool as well. But for now we've got at least 3 of our 4 corridors going out, 2 which actually have their roofs done, so we do need to sort this one out a little bit. This doesn't really have much down there. We're mainly working north and south at the moment, but I reckon it's all starting to come along pretty cool. But that's not to say we haven't got plenty to show on a time lapse. So we're going to be heading, that's north, we're going to be heading south this way, back to the MEGAwitch. And chilling out here on the nose of MEGAwitch, which is pretty big, we're going to do something that I've been sort of planning for a while. And I've been collecting ingredients, so we'll jump into a time lapse and have a look at me decimating part of a mesa. But we're going to be building, if I can switch back to me, just over here. So let's jump into a time lapse to have a look at some collecting resources, and then into the build time lapse where we've got another mega build to do. Can you work out what it is? I probably spoiled it on the thumbnail, but if I didn't, have a look and find out. Okay, resource gathering done. We've got a whole bunch of shulkers in our inventory, and I just thought before we get started on building, let's have a look at how our sniffer farm is doing. If we jump on up, we can see we now have 5 sniffers doing their thing, and we got our 2 LAs in there working along. I was Team Glare during that mob vote, and as much as I would have liked to have the Glare, I am actually glad about the LAs as well. So farms like this just wouldn't really work. I guess you'd have to use minecarts and rails, so just having a couple of those LAs makes life a bit easier. But check that out, we've got going on almost 2 stacks of each the pitcher pods and torch flower seeds. So I think maybe I'll need to sort out a torch flower or pitcher pot or whatever farm as well and get started on those. I think they give me some dyes, so maybe when we get ourselves sorted with, where are we, some of these, setting up a sort of a dye farm. So I'll need to investigate those a little bit. But we're going to run along, jump into the Nether, make our way down to MEGAwitch off that way, and let's get started on this building. Which all gets us here. We're standing on top of MEGAwitch's nose, and just across from us is Mega Villager. So got his little emerald there. I'm quite happy with how that came out, using some slime box and stuff as well to make sure we're keeping it all spawn proof. And as you might have seen, I've done the same system as I did over here with the retracting blocks to keep us spawn proof while also covering up and keeping us nice and sleek during the day. So we're just going to jump back inside of the witch, which still hasn't got a ton inside of him. And let's get into daytime. Okay, the sun is up. And we're just going to have a look at some slight changes I made. So if we duck down inside of MEGAwitch, I did this quite inelegant design for sorting out those retractable blocks, which in hindsight I realize it takes up a little bit more room than needs to be. And that's something that I've tried to change slightly with the villager, as I've actually started designing what the inside is going to look like. So if we jump over, we can see there's actually nothing at all. There's more over inside of MEGAwitch, but if we duck down here, we can see that I've actually opened up the arms a little bit more. I might go through and remove these iron blocks to give us that little bit extra room, and I might redesign this a little bit slightly, but having these, I guess, passageways down for the redstone right up to the edge, I've saved that extra little bit of room, which in the designing that I'm doing at the moment for the inside here is actually helping out a ton, because it means I can actually expand this way, because I've got a whole bunch of, I guess, really a whole building to build inside of here, which will hopefully happen in the next episode. That's why this one's a little later than what I have been doing, because I've already started working on what the inside's going to be like. We've also got the inside of the emerald here, saving some blocks. So wherever I could, I did cut those corners, because again, same as MEGAwitch on that other side there, this is a huge build, something around 40 to 50,000 blocks to build up, which when you have to gather ink for grey terracotta and brown dye from, what are they called? Cocoa beans. Just all of those things that I haven't got farms for yet. Now that I do have the mini hut, I'm definitely going to make a squid ink farm, because I just never have enough. But it takes so long, and I'm actually quite proud of how quick I managed to build this in. But we've got the same entries and stuff as we do, so the two eyes and the nose as another entry, which actually saved us once when we were trying to sort out stuff here and we ended up without any rockets to fly back up. So we were able to actually get up through the nose using a little bit of trident magic and ender pearls. So we can actually ender pearl up into here quite easily, which I think is great. And I'm going to have this as one of the 2 entries exits, but the main one will always be the eyes. I just think it is so cool to be able to just fly in through the eyes. And that brings us to the end of this week's episode. Quite on the short side, I think, but this build took a long time to do. I think the time lapse, the actual building of just the shell of this thing was about 5.5 hours. So all in all, it's not a ton of content, but a lot of building. But I've got plenty being planned currently. I'm here in my creative world, and things are starting to come along. You can see I've just about finished designing the inside of this monstrosity for next week's episode. But thanks for watching, guys. Please feel free to leave a comment. It's great to hear from anyone. It's always nice to see comments, but I'll catch you guys in the next week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. See ya.